Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, Simon.
We're good.
Good to see you. I just wanted to start off with a question for both of you guys. And firstly, I'll start with you, Neil. What is it like after 30 or so years after creating Sandman and having that world as your own creation? What's it like to let other people in to that creative process for this series? And Alan, for you, on the other hand, what is it like to be let into a world like that and to work together on something new?
Well, Sandman for me was always collaborative. That was the joy of making Sandman, starting with Sam Keith and Mike Dringenberg, the very first artists on Sandman. It was a comic, and I got to make it with a lot of people. I was always the writer. It was always my stories and my words, but other people were working with me to make the thing that you saw. The comic was lettered by Todd Klein, edited by Karen Berger. So the experience for me of collaborating on Sandman was one that actually feels more natural than anything else. And I was just incredibly lucky that David Goyer was my first collaborator on this, and David's first suggestion was that we go and get Allan Heinberg. And so we did.
No, I couldn't believe this was all happening. I had been a fan of Neil's since Sandman first came out as a monthly comic, and had loved it, and had bought a page of original art from the Brief Lives arc, and it's been hanging on my wall since 1996. And to me, Sandman was this iconic Neil Gaiman work. I don't think comics readers were as aware of the collaborative aspect of the Sandman. And so I was not expecting it to be as collaborative a process as it was. And I thought, Neil might, because Neil had protected the franchise from TV and film for so long, I think I expected a more defensive and protective posture. And because we both love Sandman in the same way, it turns out, he was the most welcoming and the most open and generous collaborator I could imagine. And he spoiled me for any other future collaborators. It was that good. It was that much fun. And just to be able to ask all the questions that a Sandman reader like me has, had to keep to himself for the last 34 years. I get to try out every fan theory, ask for every mystery to be solved. And it's been incredibly gratifying.
The weirdest bit actually is actually having a reason to answer all of the questions. Mm-hmm. I'd forgotten that I know more about Sandman than anybody else on the planet, because I hadn't really needed that knowledge. And I felt like Sandman was done. It was this thing, it's 3,000 pages long, and it's finished. And what's been fun with Alan is Alan will call asking questions that range from huge and enormous to really small and very specific. And I actually do know the answers, which has been very gratifying. I felt less like a fraud working with Alan than I think I have at any other time in the last 30-something years.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I also want to ask you, Neil, you mentioned in a couple interviews before that the audition process for Morpheus was quite a long one, and there was hundreds and hundreds of takes. One thing I had in my mind when you were saying that is, when you're seeing so many people's takes on a certain character, does that ever surprise you or influence you in a way, or give you a new perspective on your own character?
What I absolutely had not realized until we started auditioning Morpheus was how hard those lines are to say. That had never occurred to me, and how very specific they are. The auditioning process was very peculiar because Tom's audition, he was one of 4 people in the first email that we got from Lucinda Seisten, our casting director. And he was great. He nailed it. And then we kept looking because we figured it's not just this one, we'll have a whole bunch of them to choose from. And we watched, between us, we've seen, I think, over 1,000 Morpheuses. And we watched amazing actors, really good actors, not quite deliver the lines right. I mean, that was what fascinated me most, was that we didn't have 20 amazing Morpheuses by the end of the first month and 50 amazing Morpheuses after having been doing this for 6 months. We just had Tom.
Yeah, it was only Tom.
Great. Thanks, guys. That's me getting the wrap. So best of luck and thanks for talking to me.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you so much.
Dreams don't die.